I always cheer the winning team.
I see.
Like now, I'm told now the elephant is now on top of the table.
In fact, okay, let's not touch that one. We look at it at the next stage.
Yeah.
But when you look at sports,
Yes.
sports and faith, there are things that correlate. But firstly, when we define sports, these are disciplines that involve physical activity, such as fitness and training. So you have to train before you can be involved in any sport game. So with that, we connect it with faith. Because we will not train until you have faith in something that you train for. So faith is believing in supernatural powers or powers that are higher, or something that you know at the end of the day you're going to see the outcome of that thing. So faith is just believing in higher powers or spiritual conviction. So when you look at the two aspects, they relate in values such as discipline and persuasive and teamwork. So when you look at a person who is into sports, this person has that ability to work with other people. That is teamwork. And he also has in sports you need to be disciplined, and in sports you also need to be persevere. A person who can persevere any pain, anything that comes across. You need to learn how to persevere, because in that training, undergoing those fitness, you need that person who has strong faith. Yeah, just like Christian.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
No. It's not. Like when you look at sports game like athletics, when you look at the training these people undergo, you wake up very early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like of our own veteran runner, Lloyd Kipchoge. You look at the training schedule that this guy have. It's not meant for those, like you say, the faint-hearted. Yeah, it involves that discipline. When you wake up every day early in the morning, you're training, you're making those runs, you are persevering the pain. Macha usingizi wako.
You have left your comfort zone.
Comfort zone.
And the way kale ka usingizi that morning is manze.
In fact, for a normal human being who doesn't have a goal, or who doesn't have that discipline, that I want to achieve this, you'll not wake up. So sports and faith, they correlate in that way. You need to have discipline for that sport to work. You need to have discipline for you to achieve anything in that field of sports and games. Yeah.
Now, do we have maybe particular sports that are meant for Christian youths, and then the others are meant for the world?
The world.
You know what I mean by when I say the world, for the non-believers. Or sports is just for, generally for all.
When you look at, this is just the view of people. Like, you cannot tell me you love God and you don't love the parents that God has given you on earth. So sport as a discipline, we can say there is nothing like worldly sport, Christianity sport, because this is just one thing. But when it comes to maybe a Christian youth, if you want to play football, one thing that you need to understand is that God himself, maybe that question will come to answer later. I know we have that question somewhere, but it has that, like you're doing this in a layman language. I can say you honor God through an action on and off the field. For example, if I, as a Christian, I know I love football, but loving football cannot take me away from the love that I have for God. Because God comes first. before any other thing. Okay?
Yeah.
For example, I can talk about football now in Kenya. We have those people who go to church.
Yes.
We have those people who work as doctors. For example, in our Kenyan national team, we have Michael Olunga. He's an engineer. If he could have said that I'm an engineer, I cannot pursue my talent. Okay? But I know he's a Christian too. If he said, I'm a Christian, I'm an engineer, I have everything, I cannot go for to pursue my talent because my faith cannot allow me to. Your faith will never disallow you to do something that you know can earn you something or can make a difference in somebody else's life. Yeah. So when you talk about sports, I cannot say that there is sports for those for Christian and sports for those people who are not Christian or who are not believers. Yeah.
Wow. Remember, it's Youth Let's Talk Show. What is your opinion?
Yeah.
Do you believe that we have some types of sports that are just specifically meant for Christian youth and then the others are meant for the world? You can send us your opinion on our SMS line, which is 0718442578, and we will be looking at them.
Yeah.
And then a question comes, is sports godly, or does the Bible, what does the Bible say about sports?
I think before I answer that, I just want us to look at the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse number 24 to number 25. I'm going to read the NIV, and the Bible says this. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. Remember, I've said up there.
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Yes, it's a discipline that involves
physical.
Yes, physical activities.
Yes.
Such as fitness and training. So here the Bible is telling us strict training. Then they do it to get crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. So it has given us two options. Or I can refer to this, although this verse refers to running and competing in games. It's underlining a message of discipline itself. Then dedication, striving for excellence that can be applied to sports and athletics endeavors. And also, this encourages us to pursue our goals diligently and purposefully. Because keeping our focus, it encourages us, it encourages us to keep our focus on things that will have that internal reward. Okay?
Yeah.
And also, we'll have the temporary achievements that are also as a platform which displays God's given talent, and also building character and fostering community, but they cannot be misused or idolized. So, for example, now, I think most Christians have seen sports as ungodly.
Yes.
Because it has made people to worship sports. So when they think about being involved in sports games or any games, they see it will turn them away from God. But it's just a mentality, because in sports games is where you grow physically. Okay? Yes, I know people will say, I can go for fasting, I can go to pray, but your body also needs exercise. It's not just about practice, going to fast, praying, singing. You know, God gave us this body healthier. But things that we do, we make them that healthier. But through sports. you make your body stronger and stronger and stronger.
And healthier.
Yes, and healthier. That's why you find out that people who do trainings, who do their practices, you'll never grow older
That fast.
that fast.
They're
You'll always
like
be stronger. And you'll never, but the illness will not be part of you. Even now, like for example, when I talk about ministry, we go out for an outreach, preaching for people, doing discipleship, and out of that time, you know that you don't have time to exercise because you've involved yourself dedicated
work.
yourself to ministry and work. So you're not balancing between your health and what? The work of God. So you need to balance both. So if you balance both, it helps you to grow. Yeah.
And
so,
then remain healthy
yeah,
to ensure that at least you can preach for a longer time.
You can preach. Because I have a friend of mine who is a minister, a minister of the word. And in fact, today we were talking, the time you told me that you're going to share about sports and faith, I called him and I asked him, how do you balance between sports and the work of God? Now that question, he said, I'll not answer you that. Because every time when I'm around him, this guy is like, he's that person who is strict with the time. If it's time with sports activities, it's time for sports activity. And if that time is dedicated to serve God or to do something in the church, like Bible study, like going for fellowship, he will have that time. So between these two people, this person, I can say there are two people in him. A person who values sports game and a person who values God. And he has not dealt on one side. He's
not leaning on one side. He's not biased.
Yeah. He has balanced sports and God's work. So I can say boldly that sports, God himself gave us a sport activity that we can do. That one has been proven in that book of First Corinthians 9:24 to 25. I can read it once more. The Bible says this. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run? Like for example, now we are on a race. We are running towards a goal.
A goal.
And for us to accomplish that goal, it means that we have to go to intense training. And that intense training, it requires us to be physically fit for you to accomplish the purpose that God has given you on earth. Yeah.
Wow. Now you realize, Lloyd, that I once taught. I was once a teacher, and I took out students for games. And one thing I realized that this field is filled with a lot of compromise. You'll see that maybe it's a race, and then if you are not vibrant, your student might have been the first one, but on the recording desk, they're getting another name. So I realize that there is a lot of compromise. I have seen other groups going to the extent that they are going to seek for victory from wagangas or from these mediums. So I realize that it's a field that is filled with a lot of compromise.
Yes.
Now, how can this particular Christian youth be able to stand in this field for the Christian values?
So when you look at, that is one of the main challenge that or a disadvantage that comes with this sports game. But one thing that I want as a listener or the viewer who is viewing this program to understand is, as long as you believe in your God, you have faith in yourself and in your God, that despite I being in this circumstance or this football activity, yes, you understand that when you go to in a war, let me use that word.
Yeah.
When you go to war, you will never expect things to be the same, because every time when you go to attack, you never know the enemy, how he has planned, the plans that he has before he came to that war. So in sports also, you as a person, you never know the management, what they're doing. For example, I overheard about football Kenya. There's a time a team called Tusker was playing with I think was FC Leopards. But the most of the situation that we deal with the witchcraft, I've seen them in our neighbor country, Tanzania, whereby people associate football with witchcraft. Even in our primary schools, when we play football, I saw one day that a person carried omena. So they believed that omena can make
them win.
Not them, can make them like invisible, or can make them not the opponent not to score. So I know people believes in that, but if as a Christian you know that this is my talent, this team, maybe I'm going there, but they have their own faith, you believe in yourself, and you can achieve anything that you want. A good example is I've watched football, England football, and when it comes to days like we usually have Christian holidays. We have our brothers, Muslim brothers, have their holidays. And I saw in a team like Liverpool, the time when Muslim had their holidays, and it happened that day the team was playing
a match day.
So what they did, they gave some minutes for the Muslim players to offer the prayers that they usually make, because the game was in transition. Then it dawned on the referees or the game management officials that time was for them to pray. So they gave them 15 minutes.
Go and pray, then come back. Let's continue with.
So the game was to be was stopped. Then they gave a permission for them to honor their God. So in that discipline, if your people understands you, or the people you're working with understands your faith, they'll give you that chance. Yeah. So
I'm just trying to imagine now. I'm there, Christian youth. I'm playing, and my coach or my knows nothing about my God. What a challenge!
So that are some of the challenges you can face. But if you I think there's something called communication. If you have that thing we call effective communication, whereby you talk with your management. Because for these players, I know they usually give an early communication that between this time and this time, this is our time to do this and this. So if you are Christian, you're working with such organization, you need to give your communication early. That between this time and this time, there'll be this and this. If you are a person who starts in that team, for example, you're among the first choice in that team. That day they'll grant you a chance for you to make that prayer. Maybe they give you a chance after the first half of the game. Yeah, that is what they usually these big clubs do.
So you are telling us that it's upon us as Christian youths that we make communications. You remind me that Saturday we were discussing about effective communications, and we realized that the current youth is very poor in that. Now, as we have been discussing this, you mentioned of maybe people praying for Tusker, and now someone is wondering, I am born again a Christian youth. Can I play for a team like Tusker? It's promoting drunkardness. Now, can I be a part of Tusker FC?
Or not?
And I am born again.
You're born again.
Yes.
So, in a society where we live, where we live, right, like literally right now, we live with different people. You can be a Christian, you come from a family whereby one of your relatives uses drugs. Will you run away?
You don't.
What will you do? You make a difference.
Yes.
You find a way to make a difference. For example, when you have your players, your fellow players who like partying, going to party, going to do what? After games, you party. Yes, it's good to feel good when you have victory. But as a Christian, you just you need to ask yourself as a Christian, is this good for my faith? So this one, it becomes personal. Just like worshiping God is personal. It's not about the crowd.
And no one can worship
No
on
one,
your behalf.
yes, it's you. So if you trust in God, even if you go to circumstances, you find yourself in circumstances that can make you question your faith, you'll always stand, because you're standing on the principles that you yourself has builded in Christ Jesus. Yeah.
Wow. So it is your personal relationship, your personal decision, and you can be there to make a difference.
Yeah.
Wow. What a challenge. Are you there and you have been among them who is like, can I go and play for Tusker?
Yeah.
Can I
Play
go
for
and
FC Leopards.
FC Leopards?
Go play for Yanga, Simba.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Can I? So we are being encouraged, we are being challenged. What is your personal relationship with your own God? You can always make a difference. And now, bearing in mind that the church has got a different mandate. Actually, you look at the church and we know that we are called the goyes. We are going to make disciples. What challenges maybe do you personally have being a youth born again in the church? You know that I am supposed to be going out to win souls, to make disciples for Christ, and yet you are still maybe a leader in a soccer or in a sports discipline,
department of sports in the church.
Yes. Or maybe the church has no sports department. You are just you are just a team leader, maybe outside. What challenges do you face?
You know, first, there was a day it happened that I had a service, youth service, in the evening. At the same, it was after our normal church service, so we had a youth service from 2 p.m. And the team that I usually support was also playing at the same time. So that is where you come to make you need to make a decision now. You love God, you love football. Yeah? You're having a service at the same time. So that is one of the challenge that you can face. A challenge of being
you need to go for practice.
Yes, conflicting with your priorities. Yeah, so that is one of the challenge. Like, you have your priorities, you have a chance either to be in church at that time or to be
on the field.
On the field.
Actually, I have heard people say that church, there is always a next Sunday.
But the game,
we cannot. Yes.
So those are the challenges that you can face, and also addressing the level of commitment that you have. So if you that person that you are committed to achieve a goal, it can be a challenge for you to manage your it can be a challenge at some time, but also a disadvantage, because what you do in this situation, you need to plan yourself early. Like, if you know you're having an event, we're going to make discipleship sessions, we're going to win souls for Christ somewhere, and yet you also organizing maybe a football match between your church and another church. You know, it's possible for you to do that.
Yeah.
One, through this football game, you know, many people come to watch. Many youths come to watch that football. You can kill two birds at a time. Right?
Yeah.
I'm working for God, and also working for
your team.
My team. When I'm going to do discipleship, and I know this is a program for discipleship, I can go to that field. Because I'm in football, we know many people come to watch. I'll connect watu mkiendelea kucheza huku mimi nafanya mambo yangu hapa chini. I'm connecting people, telling people about God. Because some of them, they don't know how sports correlate with God. So I can link up that thing once and for all. And say, yes, God have achieved this purpose through this game. Yeah. So you, in church, that's why most of the time our churches have not realized this. If you can can identify a way of coordinating youth in a church. You know, youth have that energy, but they fail where to channel it. They'll go to a place whereby they understand that these people understand us. They understand our needs. So through games and other activities in church, we can use that as a tool of discipleship. Mambia, we have this in our church. As youth, we are doing this. We are involved in sports and games. So you can find out that many youth who like sports, they'll come to church, join us through games and sports. And through that, we can now educate them about who is Christ.
That it is vanity to only bang on sports.
Yeah. So when you teach them, they'll come to realize, okay, God gave us the mandate of doing this. So you will come to understand that slowly by slowly, these people will be transformed. And they will take the word of God seriously. Slowly by slowly, they'll understand. Yeah.
Okay, maybe as we are almost nearing the break, what is your advice to a church that is seriously against sports? Can you encourage them, or can you encourage the church that now, you know, we have evangelism department, we have intercessory, praise and worship. Can you also advise, assume you are having the board of elders. And convince them to have a department of sports in the church?
So one thing we need to understand that things are changing in the world. And as Christians also, we need to find a way that we can fit in the like a dynamic that we can fit in the changing world. Okay? Yeah. Like we need it's not all about like putting too much trust on our own understanding, because the word itself opens up our mind. It gives us a challenge. It gives us a chance to try something new. So, for example, if a church is against games as a discipline, they need to understand that in games, it also assists us to bring many people together. Football, any discipline, not just football. It can make people from different backgrounds, people from different maybe faith, religions, they'll come together just because of a discipline of games. And you'll find out that sometimes people have conflict, but this, if they hear that our church team is going to play against this church team, but they'll come together and make a reconciliation and say that through this sport activity has made us to reunite. So, for example, now advising the church is, the church kindly don't look down upon sports and games. If a church can organize a sport and game event just to build on youth mentality and make sure that they come to church, that is the thing that will bring them to church. Or if they have any other discipline that will make youth to be in church. Because as we speak, even on Sundays, let's just have a count of how many youths do we have in church.
I think we can pause on that so that we reflect on it, take a short break, then come back and dig deeper. We are taking a short break. Remember, it's faith and sports. Keep your questions coming. We shall address them after the short break. Stay tuned. Sports, actually very many people see it as something carnal. How a serious sister, a serious brother in the Lord, how do you just waste your time on such a thing? Now, as we were going to the short break, remember we were looking at, we can use it even as a tool, that though it's a challenge, but the church can embrace it, that now we are going to play team, this church versus the other church. And now you just took me back to high school. The way we could sing as cheering squad and mock the other team. I'm imagining it now, it's team this church singing and mocking team that church. Don't you think it will bring it will create enmity?
You know, sports as an activity, when you go to watch a football game between, maybe you're playing, like you've said, you're playing, for example, Pefa Church is playing with Deliverance Church Webuye.
Yes.
So, when you find yourself in this situation, sports, the fun of sports is people cheering their team. When you cheer your team, you're giving your team
morale.
And
Psyching
them up so that they cannot lose that momentum. It just an example is when I remember when you are you are going to farm those years, not these years that people go with gumboots and
yes,
and
overall,
yes, those years when farming was farming. You go to your farm in the morning, very early in the morning.
Yes.
Utatoka huko saa 9 ama saa 10 jioni. What was motivating you to work hard?
We used to have work songs.
Yes. So, same as sports, a person will not run in that field for 90 plus minutes without you as a cheering squad cheering them. But when it comes to Christianity now, matters Christianity. Yes, I understand that people will be carried away by emotions.
Yes.
Okay? But emotions will be just on that field, for sure. You will not even carry that grudge with you at home. Now, same as that, this is my enemy. You need to understand that every time, and the Bible tells us that we have those who wins and those who loses. But at the end,
let us say those who wins becomes number 2. Let us not say who loses.
Okay.
We have number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yes.
So you will win, and also there's that person we can say runners up, and you will get a gift for that. So if you go to the field, you need to accept any outcome. So even though you will sing your lungs out, you will do everything that you can do to cheer up your team. Just know at the end, you need to understand.
These are my brothers.
Yes.
These are our sisters.
We can celebrate together. In fact.
Wow. It's a challenge. You have been on the field maybe playing and you feel like that church really mocked us.
Yeah.
We are brothers and sisters at the end of the field. Let us celebrate together. Now, how can a Christian youth balance between sports and the Christian life?
Okay. Balancing between Christian life and sports, it's not that hard. For example, we understand that sports involve priorities, prioritizing time for prayer. Also, you prioritize your time for Bible studies, for fellowship, alongside many other sports commitment. So it also entails us to integrating our faith into sports activity and seeking guidance from mentors. So if you are a person who is into sports and also at the same time you into you value your faith, okay, you need to seek the advice. If you have the good advice from your mentors, will help you to balance between your faith and the sport. That is number 1. Number 2, if you share, if you align your actions on the field with that belief that you have, it also helps you to balance or maintain that harmonious balance between your Christian life and the passion you have for sports. So your alignment, how you align your activities, how you plan your activities, how you execute them will help you. It's just like balancing work and family. If you are a family, a person who have your family, balancing work and your family, it's just apply the same to sports. If you balance sports and your faith, you'll always grow. You'll not give priority. Hutalala upande moja useme acha nishikilie huku alafu sahau kwingine. Yeah.
So we are being challenged that is very possible. It's just a matter of you putting your priorities right and planning yourself. Then you'll be able to balance between sports and your faith. Being edified on the topic, indeed the natural vibe brought about by sports can be harnessed. This is Bill Ezra Kutiri all the way from Sabatia, Vihiga County. Thank you, Bill, for having stayed tuned. Now, you realize that the former education system, that's the 844, this one is facing out. We were grades oriented. We were just like, we want this number of A's in this. And actually, even our parents you could go like, Mama, we are going for practice, and she will be like, I took you to school to learn, not to play. So you realize that it was literally grades oriented. Do you think that this system in particular has been a disadvantage to some of the people, bearing in mind that the current youth, a bulk of them went through the same system?
Absolutely. Because, for example, when I was in primary school, I was a very, very good footballer. In inter-classes games, let me say that. I was playing a role of number 9. And I could...
you could do that thing.
I could play the ball until when the time comes to go home. I don't want to go home.
You want to continue playing.
But one thing I realized that time, the school that I was really valued more in education. The time they gave us was mostly in education purposes, for us to achieve
the grades.
Yes, to get good grades for our future. But they failed to understand that also we have talent. Because I remember one time when we had sport activities. Mostly they usually happen in term 2, like right now.
Yes.
So we were to be involved in sport games with the other schools, primary schools around. But the funny thing was, you're given a chance to go to that field to practice one day. A day 2. So
that you don't proceed to the next level. You come back and concentrate on your...
I remember I did before football game, we started with, I think, athletics. Our field was not that big. So we were doing our practices within the compound. So one day they gave us an opportunity to go visit a neighbor school to do practice.
That had enough space.
Yes, enough space. So we were there running. So you're excited, you're going to compete. Forgetting that your body needed that thorough training. So we gave it all that day. The first day of training, we gave it all. The second day, you're going for now the serious competition, when your muscles
are seriously pulling.
Yes. So I can say the 844 system
really
disadvantaged most of the students. For let me say, not all, but for those schools that were serious with grades. But those schools that valued both grades and curricular activities, they really benefited.
Now, there is this youth maybe who went through that system, and maybe they had a passion for sports, but because they were in a school that is just grades oriented, are now here. What is your advice to them? Is all lost?
All is not lost. And your talent will never be wasted. If you have a talent, it's in you. You can still pursue it. You can still go for it. Because if you believe, you can do, you can really do it.
It's a matter of faith.
Yes, it's a matter of faith. If you believe in it, you can go for it. For example, this Kenyan athlete called Fernando
Omanyala, our very own.
Yes. Who knew that one day he'll be the farthest and the fastest African fastest 100-meter record holder in Africa?
No one could imagine.
Why? Because his story, he narrated and said he was into rugby most of the time. So the wife, when he got the wife, that is when he realized that I can do, even in short, in athletics, I can do something. So he came up and he believed in himself, and he said, I'm going to try it. The first trial, he managed to run and put some good record, world record or African record. So as we speak, he went for he is working for the talent, and also working for Kenya as a military. So your talent will never die, even if you see that. For example, you can be at 25 years old and say there is a talent in you. You can activate it. There's another there's another lady called I don't know the real name, but kwa simu na kwa mitandao anajiita demo Facebook. This lady grew up in he grew up, I think, in this region. He was playing for Kitale Falcon, but as we speak now, he left football. That was, he had two talents in football and comedy. So now he's using comedy as a way of earning income. So your talent will never die. It doesn't matter at what cost. You'll always thrive.
So don't cry out there and claim that, whoa, 844 system wasted me.
No.
You can still make it. Do you think CBC is a remedy for this?
Absolutely. Because one, parents, when CBC came, they didn't know what package does the new learning system has come with. One, it's helping young people, or the people who are in the system now, to identify their talents at the early stage and go with it to any level that they will go in learning. For example, it can help you to, if you're not that person who, like in our 844 system, ulikuwa unasoma chemistry, biology pamoja na physics and any other subjects. But in this one, our children have been given the priority to major very early. Yes. Yeah. As you grow up, I'm going with sciences, I'm going with humanities, and I'm going with the technicals. Yes. So if you are a person who is into agriculture, who has passion for agriculture, they'll give you a mode of learning that is based in that field. If you're a person who is into sports, they'll give you a learning, a mode of teaching that can lead you towards your talent. So it's not going because unatafuta grade. No, they're giving you what you deserve. So I think CBC will solve some problems. And that's why you look at, for example, the president said about something about tertiary colleges, or these institutions like national polytechnics, TTIs. So he wants people to go to such schools. Why? Because he believes that you being there, it will make you depend on yourself after you're done with school. You'll not depend on people to employ you. You'll employ yourself. That is your talent. You're employing yourself through your talent. So this CBC, I think it's good for our children to go with that talent. Yeah.
Wow, even as we are almost wrapping up, there's this youth in the church. She or he is born again, and maybe they have a passion for sports, but it's maybe out of fear, or they just have no direction. What is your advice to them? What challenges should they expect? Of course, challenges will come their way, and how can they overcome those?
Let me just talk to this youth. One, for you being passionate about sports, but you're lacking direction, one, you need to seek for guidance from your mentors, your coaches, your mentors. This might be your
youth
spiritual
pastor,
father, youth pastor. That is your mentor in the church. Then you have coaches now, those who are in different fields kwa kanisa wenye mnasimama nao. Then we have Christian organizations that also provide support and directions. So these three people help you to identify your passion and how you'll build on it with your relationship with God not being interfered with. Also, you may encounter like mostly the challenges that comes with this is one, peer pressure. You want to be like a person. Unasema my mentor now this is the problem. This is where the problem of mentorship comes in. You want to live a life that your mentor is living, and yet at your level you cannot. So if you put your expectations so high and you don't meet them at the time that you've given yourself, you find out that this person ataanza kufanya
kukufa moyo.
Sorry. Ataanza kufa moyo. But you need to prioritize. Don't be let down by the peer pressure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry for that. Okay, then we have also conflicting schedules. So you have your schedules, maybe sorry for that. So maybe the schedules that you're having, balancing between sports and your commitments, which is your spiritual growth, may be interfered with. But sorry. But when you understand now that you, as a person, you this and this and this, for sure, nothing will make you stay away from your faith. Yeah. But when you set your goals straight, and also you surround yourself with people who can influence you positively, will make you grow and make any challenge that comes with your way, you will overcome them. As a youth who is passionate with your faith and the sports that you want to participate in.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite a great challenge. Maybe as a parting shot, and even as you do the parting shot, youth outside there is also asking, is going for sports or playing on a Sunday a sin? and you can answer that one in 30 seconds and a 30 seconds parting shot.
Okay. Playing on Sunday is not a sin. Most of our churches, we have programs that run from morning to evening. For example, you have a service from, like you're having a game at 2 p.m. You can still be in church early in the morning, attend the first service, pray to God to give you guidance in that game, and proceed to the field. Then, as I wind up, I just want to say this. Let's remember that our faith can deeply influence our action, both on and off the field. Whether we are athletics, coaches, or spectators, let's strive to honor God with our talents, compete with integrity, and demonstrate love and respect for others. So, I can say thank you, listeners, for joining us tonight. Until next time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for having created time for us. It has been a pleasure. I know many who have been inclined to faith alone can now understand that we can still balance. And remember, we have been told that even through sports, by the way, you can do sports evangelism.
Yeah.
You can disciple through sports. You can win so many souls through sports. So let us be open-minded. Let us up our game as a youth in the church. Let us compete with integrity as he has finished with. And remember that in all that we are doing, it is for the glory of God. God bless you. God keep you. Till next week, same time, same place. I have been your host, Venancy Khisa. Have a blessed night and week ahead.